Hi, and thanks for joining me on the 4th episode of my tutorial series. Today we're going to be covering pianos and effects in my track. I'll play you a quick clip of the track and then we'll get stuck in. So for the pianos, I'm going to have two of them which will be working together, and the second piano I'm actually going to detune by 12, so that's an octave. And that should make it sound a little bit thicker in the mix. So, cool, so I'm going to record that in. And then we'll take it back out of low latency, and I'm just going to swing it. And I think that one's probably the right one to use. So if you shorten it, and then we're going to use that loop instead. And then on the pianos, just for a build up, I'm just going to go into the automation. I've just added a little bit of a cutoff. And that's just on the piano here, and that's on the actual bus. So I don't have to do it individually for each piano. I just do it on here, and that will rise up. So for really quick access to do stuff like that, if you go into your window at the top and you go to mix, and then this one here, auto select automation and parameter read mode. All it means, if you open a plugin, let's say I hit A to get my automation up. If I go into those pianos and I pick any of my plugins, say for instance this one, if I click the frequency, that's what's going to appear down here. If I make a new one and click the frequency of that, that's what will appear. And straight away you can just automate, which makes it really, really easy and quick if you're working. So I'm just going to delete that because we don't need it. And then I've just done the exact same thing, but on the reverb, and it just goes up as it goes on. And then this is where you'll want to add other things in, probably over the drop. So if I go into effects, there's normally some like cool stuff in there. These are all the ones that I've downloaded. Even downlifters like that. So I don't want the whole of that thing, but the loop there, again, is very loud, so let's turn it down. But all I want really is that first. Oh, she does. Let's just see if that's the same. No, so I just need this bit here. And all it's for is so that I can add some delays and stuff like that to it. So turn the feedback right up, and then over the top of the beat. Now at the moment that's on G sharp, which doesn't really fit. So I can either bring it down on the pitch here by 2, but it would probably sound better this is a point where you can kind of have fun with it and just muck around. There's the go-to kind of detuning, which a lot of people will use. Sound toys, they'll use a little altar boy, and if you just bring the formant down on that, it stays at the same pitch, but it sounds lower. And then I could use that downlifter that I got there. And if you want to get creative with sounds like that, so I put a delay on it. If I click on the feedback on it, if you go above 100, you're pretty much going to make that sound continuous. The higher you go, the more out of control it gets, so you've got to be quite careful, but you can automate it. So you can make it get louder and quieter and that kind of thing. Now, to keep it moving with everything that's been added so far, I'm just going to loop that section. And I think if I just add more and more and more to it, like too much almost, I can then go back and move that out. I think this is a loop override, which I use. Right, so you can hear there it's going out of time. This is a bit of a weird one because it doesn't actually, on the end of it, you can't just pull it in to the end of the bar. So I found the easiest way to deal with it is to just flex and then get rid of the rest. And then that's then what I use. And that can basically just be used when it needs a bit more energy in the track. Let's see what else I've got in here which I might be able to use for this. I've got a stab. So let's try the stab. See how we get on with it. And that's actually there on F sharp at the moment. Bring it down 3. And it could just be used as one of those things to keep the beat moving. It could be more percussion than an actual synth. So I'm going to take off the low end so it doesn't get in the way. And then to sit it in with everything else, adds a little bit of reverb, and I'm going to add a little bit of delay. And then I'm going to move the sidechain compression after the delay, so it sucks in the delay as well. And then the only thing that's making that stick out slightly is, I think this is, swung to B. If we put that in, you'll notice just moves it slightly. I tend to do this, it looks like I'm doing it way too much, but it's just to make sure the mix is wide, so they're now right on the edges of the mix. That's where we could then add and that might be something that keeps it going earlier as well, like stab. So I can start dragging this out. So obviously you're not going to want everything in there straight away. Typically after kind of 3 times round, I'd say it would lose energy. So I'm going to put the ride there ahead of time. I'm going to put maybe a few more breaks in there. This is just the kick that I'm moving across. And this is just going to give us like 24 bars worth, I think it worked out as. Maybe swap these around so that comes in earlier. And another one that's good, you have to be slightly careful at it for spreading stuff, is Logic's just default sample delay. So if I sample the wood block, that's what it sounds like on its own. Makes it wider, makes it sound slightly doubled. The only thing you've got to be careful of is that it doesn't phase out. So the easiest way to check it is if you go to metering and correlation meter. So it'll be phasing if it's at -1. You want it as close to 1 as possible, to be honest. You can see it's a bit of trial and error sometimes. The reason it's worth doing is because if I just flick it into mono, you can hear there it's almost disappearing. Stuff like that will just fill in these gaps. If you want it to fit in the beat more, but other than that, it's probably going to be a case of structure, add in some of those extra sounds, maybe add a vocal that I'm going to chop up as well, so I'm going to have a play around with that. But I'll do those things and then I'll come back to it and I'll show you the little changes and the little bits that I've made.